Hello, welcome to Family Movie Night, where we'll be talking about what we watch for Family Movie Night. I'm Mike, and today we are talking about Spellbound. So, Spellbound is a 2024 movie on Netflix. The premise of it is Elion is a tenacious princess who must go on a daring quest to save her family and kingdom after a mysterious spell transforms her parents, the king and queen of Lumbria, into monsters. So some of the voice talent that's involved with this is Rachel Ziegler, John Lithgow, Jennifer Lewis, Nathan Lane, Javier Bardem, and Nicole Kidman. So a pretty stellar cast. I think, moreover, I think one of the things that you also kind of hear about this is that it's from the quote creator of Toy Story and one of the co-directors of Shrek. So, in terms of animation prestige that's involved with this, it's pretty high up there. So, why is it that I walked away from this thinking that this was fine? And it really boils down to two things. But before I get into those two things, I at least will give this credit for a couple things. One, I thought the premise of this was outstanding. I think the songs are great because Rachel Ziegler really knows how to sing. And I thought the characters were pretty endearing. And the premise was fine until you kind of figure out where this is going. And as a kid, it's like, really? We're asking kids primarily to accept the fact that this movie, the whole premise of this is about a set of parents who just figure out that they need to get divorced. And I think overall there is some merit to something like that because, divorce is very common. And for kids in particular, it's an important lesson to learn that, hey, if your parents get divorced, no big deal. Or no, okay, I don't want to say no big deal, but if your parents get divorced, your parents are still going to love you. And as long as your parents work together in order to make sure that you are still top priority, then everything will be all good. Because that's something that I think there was a good takeaway is that, hey, if for parents to kind of lose sight of the fact that, hey, we're so busy doing a lot of other things that we're not going to pay attention to our kid as much because we're so busy and preoccupied with other stuff. I think that's a valuable lesson for parents who are watching this to learn, as well as kids, about what you should do and proper ways to handle something like that. In addition, uh, for a kid watching this, if I see that the end result of this is that these parents are going to get divorced or at minimum separated, that they still love me. And as a kid whose parents did get divorced when I was 5, that's an important lesson to learn. It's just very odd to me that throughout the course of this movie that this feels like the whole thing. And if this was like a part of it, then that would that I think that there's some valuable takeaways for that. But the fact that the resolution for this is like, oh, we should just break up. I think just felt a little short-sighted. These set of parents who turn into monsters, I think I think just a vivid metaphor. And I think that there was a lot of great animation and just how these like this twister that like turns people into monsters kind of reminds me of like the darkness in old school movies, or kind of like the nothing in the never ending story. But it's something that showcases that, hey, your anger will eventually turn you into a monster. So I thought that some of that stuff was interesting. Towards the end, was getting kind of frustrated with Elion as a character as well. She was very, and it kind of sucks to say that because on one end, I think she has every right to be kind of frustrated with her parents because she has been dealt a raw hand, specifically by her parents, who are turned into monsters. And she, at the age of like 14, 15, has to kind of run this kingdom and, kind of grow up in a very tumultuous way. So, I think there's some good merits to that. It's just how she and like this the movie just in reality, the ending really ruined this movie for me because I thought that there was a lot of good stuff going for it, but then just at the end it just kind of lost me and I just wish that, you know, it wouldn't have been as such a simple solution as let's just get divorced and we still love our kid. You know, I feel like that there should have been just a tad bit more nuance there, and that for this girl, her birthday party is like the end all be all for her, which I get it, but also it just felt a little weird that this was the end all be all for it. So overall, I I enjoyed Spellbound minus the end. You could see the animation prestige here, and you could see the fingerprints from all the people who were involved with this. I have a feeling that Netflix is probably going to want to continue to expand the lore and expand the story and the world here. So we'll kind of wait and see what happens. But overall, enjoyable. It was, both girls were invested in this a lot, so I guess I got to give it credit for that. That's going to do it for this episode of Family Movie Night. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew, wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website at spdmcrew.com. Follow us on Letterboxd at MLHilty2452, and follow our list labeled Family Movie Night. Shout out to High Flyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at highflyercreative.com. Check out our other podcasts on the network. We've got shows about movies, TV shows, physical media collections, comic books. We've got a show on J.R.R. Tolkien and his pieces of literature. And then we are launching one later this month on trivia. So that's all exciting stuff. So check out the other shows on the network. And finally, if you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, happy watching, friends.